Right, hello. So what we're going to be showing today is what's actually stored for a bitmap image. Okay, so I've got a new bitmap here. This one's slightly different to the last one. It's using 8 bits per pixel. Let's load it up into Paint actually, would be better. So you can see what's stored. Yeah, so it's 800 by 400 pixels and it's 8 bits per pixel, or 1 byte per pixel. So let's just make a note of it. So let's get rid of that. So it's 800 by 400 and it's 1 bit per pixel. Sorry, 8 bits per pixel. So the file size then is 800 by 400. Essentially it's just that, because you don't need to worry about the so if you did the maths there, 800 by 400 is 320,000, so it's 320 kilobytes. Okay. Now if you actually look at Paint, it's not showing that, but it's close enough, so 313. Now, so let's have a look to see what's actually inside the file when we load it up. Now I've got a hex editor here called XV132, which is the one I really use, to be honest, so I can't really say if it's any good or not, but I think it's good. Now, so you can see there, it's a load of hex. Okay, so no surprises there. If you scroll through it, you will see there's a lot of Fs. Now those Fs are going to be, so each one of these bytes represents 1 pixel. So if I change those Fs to zeros, Fs are going to be white, so this is going to do a black line somewhere. Okay, I'll give it a bit longer so we can actually see it. Right, so we've changed quite a few pixels there. And I'll do. So let's save that and have a look at our bitmap now. I'll open it up in, there we go. So you can see now we have a line going across there that didn't exist before. Okay, so you can see that that's where it's coming from. If I did that in a different value, then it would be a different color, obviously. Now, how does it draw it? Well, what it's doing is starting, I think down here actually. You'd expect it to start, we always usually start at the top here, but it's starting down the bottom. And what it's doing is just reading the file here, and it's just drawing a pixel. But how does it know when to start a new line? Well, it must have the information in the actual file itself. Okay, so somewhere along this top line will be the coordinates of the image. Now it's in hex, so obviously it's not in 400 by 800. So let's convert those to hex and we should be able to spot where they are in the file. So 800 is 30320 in hex. That's 4. Oh no, it's not. That's the wrong one. It is 0190, and this is the one I did earlier. So this is 0320. I'm doing it as bytes here. So both of those not necessarily looking particularly hex-like numbers. So we're looking for 320 and 190 in our hex editor here. Now, well, that's 0320, but notice it's backwards. That's the way it encodes it. I think it's called Little Endian or Big Endian way of doing it. I can't remember from my degree days, something like that. So that's 0190. So you can see that there, those two represent the 800 and that one represents the 400. So if we swap those around, it's not going to make any difference in terms of the file size, which would really cock things up, but it should just draw it differently, a different aspect ratio. Yeah, I think that's the right term. So if I change that 2003 to 9001, so 9001, and I'm going to change that 9001 to 2003. Right, it's slightly backwards, so it's a bit. Right, so save that. Now let's have a look. And you'll see there in the preview, it's not actually changed it that bad. You can still see it, but you can see that the image has definitely gone a bit weird there. All right, but we haven't changed it. Now, if I change the image dimensions to not actually fit how many pixels we have, then it's going to go all wrong. Okay, so it's all encoded in there, the actual dimensions, which you do need. Now, also in there will be 8, which should be the number of pixels. So that I'm assuming that could be it there. I don't know for certain. Obviously, that would mean that it goes a bit crazy. If I change that, I don't think it would even load. So if I change that to 4, probably not going to preview, probably not going to load. Oh no, it does. Yeah, that's good. All right, so it's just actually, if I went the other way, if I went to, yeah, because it just stops reading it, I presume, as opposed to if I change it to more than 8, then it would actually probably go a bit more. So if I change that to, let's say, what was it, 16 in X is 10, then I suspect that would now not be able to read that. Yeah, if I try that, it's not going to load up. Let's put that back so it's still readable. There's a 10 there, so there's a 10. Let's put it back as 8, and then all's well with the world. Now I could swap it back as well, but I'm not going to. All right, so you can see, there we go. It's not quite the same as what we had before, but it's close enough. Okay.